and productivity, anything to fill the void. 1,000 times over, I've discovered that these things don't satisfy. Maybe that's why I keep returning to this issue of hungering for God. More than a decade ago, a friend gave me the opportunity to publish my first book. Though I considered submitting a dozen different ideas, I decided to explore what it looks like to pursue God and hear His voice. In some ways, I've never stopped mining these themes, as evidenced in the organic God, the sacred echo, and scouting the divine. I hope I never do. I wrote God Whispers, Learning to Hear His Voice, exploring the belief that as followers of Jesus, we are wired to hear and respond to the voice of God in our lives. Instead of shouting, God takes a subtle, gentle approach to communicating with us. Instead of filling the solar system with Star Wars presentations, carving words in tree bark, or dropping parchment from the sky, God whispers in order to draw us closer. While God can reveal Himself through a trumpeting angel descending from the sky, the presence of the divine often greets us in the mundane, in the midst of our workday routines and everyday circumstances. I've continued to grow spiritually since God Whispers first released a decade ago. This updated version has been revised and retitled to reflect this growth. One thing that hasn't changed is my hunger for a vibrant relationship with God, one in which I not only know that He hears my voice, but I also hear His. It's the kind of relationship in which we're growing an intimate knowledge of each other, though God obviously has a head start on that one, and delight in one another each day. Learning to hear God's voice is more like enjoying a good book than completing a doctorate. It's more like mastering an instrument than achieving an award. In other words, you never quit growing and discovering. My hope and prayer is that God's voice will become a natural melody in the music of your life, such that He becomes the highlight of your everyday. May the hunger for God stir in your heart. Blessings, Margaret. Point 001, an unforgettable invitation. As a child, I climbed out of bed early each morning, walked into the living room in footy pajamas, and encountered a familiar scene. My mom sitting on the couch reading her Bible. The image is one of my fondest childhood memories. Though my parents taught me countless lessons about God while I was growing up, the sight of my mom perched on the sofa, searching the scriptures, was one of the most powerful. Each morning as she studied and prayed, she gave me a portrait of what it looks like to forage for the divine. Both of my parents taught me what it means to turn life's routines into adventures, and how to keep one's ears attuned to God along the way. Free spirits who embarked on new undertakings every few years, my parents went from manufacturing surfboards in Florida to building their own end-of-the-world home in North Carolina to living as ski bums for a winter in Colorado, never shying away from new exploits. Because they weren't attached to a particular denomination, we attended a different type of church wherever we lived. At each new place of worship, I always liked asking the people we met a question. How do you hear from God? The answers were as diverse as the people I asked, and most answers left me more confused. Some didn't seem to worry all that much about hearing from God. One pastor told me, "You just know deep down inside." "But how do you know?" I'd protest. Others relied on spiritual language. One bubbly church-going woman described having something she called a check in her spirit. Still others claimed to hear from God all day, every day, as if they had a Commissioner Gordon-style red phone at home with a direct connection to God's heavenly secretary. These people scared me. When I asked my mom about hearing from God, she used much of the same language as everyone else. I knew her words were genuine, but still, what she said didn't compute. None of it was getting through my overly inquisitive 10-year-old skull, and Mom could tell. That's when she decided to try something different. We prayed together, asking God to speak and reveal Himself to me. I had no idea such a simple prayer could be so powerful. God sings. One Sunday, the children's lesson was on how the name of Jesus had power and authority. That night, I dreamt I was cornered on the edge of a steep, rugged cliff by a pack of wolves. The ravenous animals snarled. Their sharp ivory teeth snapped. If I didn't do something, I would